Hello YouTube, how's everyone doing? It's Professional here. So today I thought I'd do a reaction to the Black Ops 6 gameplay reveal trailer. I normally don't do reactions. It's very rare on my channel, but this is one game that I'm kind of looking forward to this year coming out, and I'm actually happy this is not futuristic. I was actually scared it was going to be something futuristic, something like Black Ops 4 running on the walls and stuff like that. So I'm actually happy it's not technically a complete modern setting. It's in the 1990s, but at least it's not futuristic. That's just what I was just really scared it would be that. But anyways, we're gonna do a reaction to this, and I hope that you guys like my my cosplay for this. I always dress up as the characters. And I will say though, is I actually liked Cold War. The last game that they made, Cold War, I actually enjoyed it. I don't know why so many people hated on the game. I never really got into the multiplayer, but I did like the single player. Single player I actually enjoyed in Cold War, and I actually did like the zombies, especially the I forget what even the name of the mode was. The open world one, zombies mode. I'm trying to remember what it was called. I haven't played it in some time, but regardless, I liked it though. So I generally like the zombies in that game, and I also like the campaign. And people were just hating on Cold War at the time. They were saying, "Oh, this is the worst Call of Duty game. This game sucks." And then Vanguard came out, and Vanguard was such a mess with the campaign, switching a character like every single mission. The zombies was just terrible in Vanguard. It was like objective-based zombies. It sucked. The characters were really cringy. It just wasn't as good. And the gun customization was just cursed in Vanguard. So people hated on Cold War, I think, for the wrong reasons. I think Cold War was ultimately a decent game. And I guess we'll see this. I think that Treyarch has always been better at making single-player games versus Infinity Ward. And I will say, before I start this reaction, is that this is Treyarch's chance to bring faith back into the Call of Duty campaigns. Because when Infinity Ward really messed up on the campaign in Modern Warfare 3, and I mean really, really badly messed up, I mean, the campaign in Modern Warfare 3 was like 4 hours long. It's probably 3 hours if you rush it. And half of the campaign wasn't even a real campaign. It was just open combat missions, which were just cheaply designed. So hopefully no open combat missions. Hopefully longer than a 4-hour campaign. Hopefully we have some choices in this campaign like we did in Cold War and we did also in Black Ops 2. I would like to see some choices, maybe some dialogue options like we had in Cold War 2. Stuff like that. And this seems to be more of a spy game. This game, it's going to be still a war game technically, but it's going to be seemingly mostly a spy game. So make a longer than a 4-hour campaign, make a good campaign, and I think you could restore a lot of people's faith in the Call of Duty campaigns, because don't make it stupid also, like what Infinity Ward did with Makarov, making him such a stupid character in Modern Warfare 3, and then Soap, and don't want to talk about that anymore. But anyways, let's react to this. This is also George Bush, who is the father of George W. Bush, and this is going to be probably talking about the Gulf War. I saw this trailer actually a couple hours ago, but we're going to react to it again, and I'll let you guys know what I think of it.
Good evening. The Soviet Union is no more.
So Soviet Union collapsed in December 1991. That is when it officially ended. During the time of the Gulf War, the Soviet Union still existed. So that's what people don't know is it still was a thing. It was pretty much on the verge of collapse at in 1991. It was that several Soviet republics have already left. I'm pretty sure that the Baltics had left already. Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, I think they already left by the time in 1991. What happened was Poland had already broken away. Poland was part of the Warsaw Pact, so Poland had a independent government since 1989. East Germany, I think, collapsed in 1990, and then Russian troops didn't leave until I think 1992 or 1993. I'm trying to remember. Hungary, I think also the communist government of Hungary also collapsed by this time. Czechoslovakia, I think, as well. But anyways, let's keep watching here.
Despite a potential...
Oh, and I'll also bring up a little historical facts here. This is the Berlin Wall also. See this? Yeah, this is the real footage of the Berlin Wall when it came down.
Despite a potential...
This man is Gorbachev here, but anyways, let me just watch through the trailer and then I'll go back to all of this.
Despite a potential for instability and chaos, these events clearly serve our national interest. Free from the specter of global conflict.
Today we celebrate the mystery.
Yeah, this is the Gulf War,
American
definitely.
renewal.
Bill Clinton.
Something's going on.
See.
Something big.
I'm a fire starter, terrific fire starter.
I figured if I stuck around hell long enough, I'd see the devil.
How's he look?
I'm a fire starter.
agency is compromised. We're being hunted from the inside.
You're the fire starter, twisted fire starter.
Game's looking great so
You
far.
don't have to trust me, Marshal. But it might be better if you do.
Hey, it's something you should see.
What the
There's
hell
Woods.
are we getting into? Don't trust anyone.
You broke into a CIA black site. Are you out of your mind?
Things got complicated.
Treyarch are definitely the best studio when it comes to making single-player Call of Duty games or story Call of Duty
May
games.
God continue to bless the United States of America.
Pre-order the Vault Edition and get the Hunters vs. Hunted Operator Pack, the Mastercraft Weapon
Oh,
Collection,
no.
the Season 1 Black Cell Bundle.
Oh, okay, no, not that bundle crap. Okay, let's let me break down a lot of the stuff that's going on here. Also mute this so I can go through some of the stuff that I'm seeing here. So again, this was Berlin Wall coming down. This is Mikhail Gorbachev. He actually died. He died recently. He died a year or two ago, and he was the last leader of the Soviet Union. So he was the final leader of the Soviet Union. Some people, he's a very in the West, he's generally seen as a favorable person. That he kind of helped to diffuse the Cold War. So it wasn't just Reagan who helped end the Cold War. Gorbachev also did help to end the Cold War. He did improve relations to the West. So in the West, he's generally a more favorable leader. He's a more favorable Russian leader. However, though, in Russia itself, he's considered a very controversial leader because he put new reforms into Russia, and those new reforms, he tried to liberalize the Soviet economy. He tried to encourage more free market reforms. He tried to also bring democracy more to the Soviet Union, and some people actually end up blaming him for the economic collapse in the Soviet Union. So he's a very controversial figure. Some people have a neutral view of him, some people like him, and some people in Russia absolutely hate him. Because what a lot of people don't know is that when the Soviet Union collapsed, it was a really, really bad time in Russian history. Is a lot of us in the West, we see this as like a good time because the Soviet Union wasn't an adversary anymore. But in Russia itself, their economy completely collapsed. People that had, and I'm not defending communism or anything, I hate communism. What I'm just saying is that people had jobs, they had, apartments, and then the next day, everything was just gone. Their job, somebody that was like a doctor might be like a taxi driver the next day. Stuff like that happened. The Russian mafia became very powerful. These Russian oligarchs, these came in and they basically stole a lot of property that was from the previous Soviet government, and they auctioned off and sold off government assets. That's how Russia ended up getting so many billionaires in just a short time. Is those billionaires didn't amass that wealth. Honestly, they just basically stole and just pillaged from what was left of the Soviet Union. So it was just, I'm just saying, it was just the 90s were a really bad time in Russian history. This guy right here, I'm pretty sure this is Boris Yeltsin, who was the president of Russia afterwards. He is a pretty hated person in Russian history as well. I know that his administration, I don't know that much about his administration, but I know that his administration is oftentimes associated with a lot of corruption. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that there was protests in Russia. I think that there was something that happened at the parliament. I saw a documentary about this many years ago, but I remember that I think he was the one who ordered tanks to fire on the Russian parliament. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, but this happened in the 90s. So Yeltsin is a pretty hated person in Russia. Yeah, this looks like it's Russia too. I can't read this stuff. My father could probably read this. He speaks Russian, Belarusian, and Ukrainian fluently. Yeah, this looks like some here. This is probably Russian police here, because Russian police throughout since modern history, even from the 90s, they typically wore like that blue kind of camouflage. I don't know what it's called. It was like blue, and it was like spots of black like all around. That's what the Russian police typically wore, or I should say Russian tactical police. So I think this is probably Russian police right here. some kind of riots going on here. This possible this is Russia. This right here, this is either Iraq or Kuwait right here. You see the Iraqi flag, and this is probably Iraqi soldiers right here. Yep, this is the Iraqi flag. So for people wondering what the first Gulf War, this started I think in August of 1990, and I think it ended like January or February 1991. It only lasted for like half a year. George Bush Sr. was the president at the time. What basically happened was Saddam Hussein, who was the dictator of Iraq, he invaded Kuwait. He tried to secure oil in Kuwait, and then after a couple weeks of occupation, he ended up annexing Kuwait. The coalition forces got involved. It was a coalition forces got involved. It was a pretty big conflict, and it wasn't just the U.S. versus Iraq, but a lot of people think that. I think that Egypt was also an ally of the U.S., and I think Saudi Arabia was there as well. So I think it was Egypt and Saudi Arabia were the two U.S. allies in that war, I believe. And also Kuwait. Well, Kuwait was getting occupied at the time, too. What happened was when the Iraqis were actually retreating from, Kuwait, they actually ended up setting a lot of the oil wells in Kuwait on fire. That's why you always see those videos, like those famous videos of, like, jets flying overhead during the Gulf War, and then you see, like, flames coming out. It's because a lot of oil fields either got bombed during the war, or they were intentionally set on fire. So stuff like that happened. Okay, here. Yeah, some kind of riots here. This is Saddam Hussein, the dictator of Iraq. This is a pretty bad guy. He led a very brutal authoritarian government in Iraq. I'm not going to get into the modern history of Iraq. I'm not really going to get into that. The only thing I'm going to say about Saddam is he was a pretty brutal ruler. I don't agree with the Iraq war that happened in 2003. I think the war was a stupid war, but that doesn't mean that Saddam Hussein was a good man. He wasn't. This is definitely footage from the Gulf War here. This is this guy right here. Let me see here. This is Powell. I don't remember his rank. I think he was a top general. He actually ended up passing away a couple years ago. Yeah, this is the Gulf War. This is exactly what I was talking about, the oil wells getting caught in fire. This looks like a statue of Saddam Hussein coming down. This is, looks like the U.S. Yeah, it's the U.S. Probably possibly D.C. to see American police cars. Bill Clinton, President Clinton. So the story is going to progress from, like, the presidency of George Bush to Bill Clinton. So it's going to looks like it's going to take place over a few years. This is D.C. I do like how they have the 1990s police cars. That I do like. So you see a lot of 1990s cars. So you're seeing already, I'm already having a lot of faith in this storyline. I think that they're doing a good job with it. More footage of the Gulf War. Yeah, this is the Gulf War here. Adler's back. This is probably the Gulf War as well here. This entire game is not going to be Gulf War, by the way, though. I kind of predicted this on live streams where I said that I don't think the whole game is going to be Gulf War. I think that there's going to be a section of the game, because I can't imagine the entire game just taking place in the Gulf War. There's probably going to be a few different countries you're going to go to. This looks like a Saddam Hussein palace here. This is probably some kind of CIA black site. A black site, for people that don't know, it's like a covert place where the government basically does plans secret operations. United States, I can't say everything here, but I think it's a CIA. We see police SWAT, so the SWAT team is here for some reason. Again, we have these. I actually like these in Cold War, how you can just, like, grab enemies and you can just put a grenade on them, stuff like that, take them as a shield. I actually like that. Okay, not sure where this is here. Adler is going undercover. Casino, it says casino something on his uniform, so he's dressed up as some kind of maintenance technician. Who he's fighting, I have no idea who he's fighting right here. This looks like another palace of Saddam Hussein. Saddam Hussein had a massive fortune of gold. He had tons of gold. So yeah, he had a giant fortune. This is Woods. For people wondering why is Woods in a wheelchair, it's because Black Ops 2 is canon to this storyline too. I kind of as much as I like Black Ops 2, sometimes I hope that Black Ops 2 that they declare Black Ops 2 not canon because I just hated how they killed off Hudson. I never liked that in Black Ops 2. How they just got the way they got rid of Hudson. I hated that in Black Ops 2. So that's sometimes why I wish Black Ops 2 isn't that it's not going to be declared that it will be declared not canon sometimes. But anyways, this the U.S. invasion of Panama happened in 1989. That's actually when Woods got crippled. So Woods was crippled in 1989, and so the game takes place 1990, 1991, I'm guessing 1992 also. So Woods is going to be crippled by this time. Okay, what the hell is this right here? What is this right here? I'm gonna slow this down because this is something that I don't think people were really seeing right here. What on earth is this thing? Slow. I'm just playing at a 25% right now. It's slowed down. This looks like a robot. This is not a person. That is a robot. Yes, applications we can see here. So maybe it's some kind of CIA black site project where they're developing some kind of robots, something like this. And also around this time in the 1990s, people believed that robots were going to become the future of warfare. People still do to this day, but like it was a big thing at that time period, especially like the Terminator movies coming out. People thought that eventually there was going to be robots that were going to make that look just like people. So yeah, that's a robot. It's some kind of android. This, I don't know what this is right here. I have no idea what this thing is. December 29, 1990. This looks like some kind of experiments. You can see somebody here in some kind of lab. Looks like some kind of scientist here. This might be referencing Project MKUltra. Project MKUltra was a covert CIA program in which they actually experimented on people. What they did was they brainwashed people. They gave people various amounts of drugs. And they were basically trying to gain mind control. That's what they were trying to do. And the really creepy thing about Project MKUltra is that it has its roots in Nazi Germany. So in Nazi Germany, they actually experimented on concentration camp prisoners, and they were trying to brainwash concentration camp prisoners with drugs and all these different experiments. And the CIA actually continued that program. It's actually unknown the total amount of victims from Project MKUltra. They also experimented on American soldiers as well. There's one American soldier that I gave him some kind of drug, and I think, was it PCP? I don't remember exactly everything that it was, or I think it was LSD, and he ended up jumping from a balcony and killing himself. So this was just, the CIA did some really horrible things, and I would like to see the CIA as an enemy also. So I think the CIA are probably going to be the enemies in this game. They're probably going to be the antagonists. Let's see, what do we got here? Somebody punched somebody. Okay, I don't know who these guys are here. Juggernaut's back. This is a winter place. Where this is definitely not Iraq. I don't know if it's gonna be right in Russia because their economy just literally collapsed. So maybe chances are this might be like a flashback, like in the 80s or something like that. That's possible too. We do see I do see Soviet weapons here. This is a Soviet missile launcher. I don't know the name of this, but I've seen a lot of Cold War movies and games, and so I'm pretty sure this is a Soviet launcher right here. Yeah, so one other thing I noticed is this character is wearing police right here. Police. That's what it is. So chances are you might actually play as a SWAT team member in some of the missions. What's going on here? I have no idea. Some kind of train, looks like some kind of jungly environment. So this part, she said you broke into a CIA black site. So this is probably the CIA black site that Idler probably broke into. And this I love this part. This is probably my favorite part of the trailer. It's uses the bike, jumps over all of them. He's chasing some kind of truck here. Something, yep. So somebody's in the truck right there. Probably the CIA who's probably chasing him here. and that's pretty much it. So we'll see. I guess we'll see what's going on here. This black cell crap. I don't even want to talk about this, honestly. But thank you guys for watching. I hope that I broke down the trailer and I broke down the history just so that you guys understand it a little bit there. But I hope that you guys are enjoying this. Enjoyed this reaction. If you did, you drop a like. It does help my channel out a lot. I'll play through this game. I'll play the campaign. I'll try to. I'll even message the developer. I'll ask them if I can get an early copy. So I can play the campaign early. Probably not. I'm probably not gonna get any kind of response, but it's worth a try. But thank you guys for watching. I hope that you guys enjoyed this. If you did, do drop a like, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care, everyone. Have a wonderful day, guys.